Good morning, everyone. Today is the memorial for George Floyd, and in a moment of justice yesterday, and I say moment because there's more work to be done, we saw Officer Derek Chavin's murder charge heightened to the second degree alongside 3 other officers held culpable for their actions. And this is largely due to the swift work of Minnesota AG Keith Ellison, who happened to join a live Zoom panel session hosted by the African American Policy Forum last night, alongside Alicia Garza, co-founder of Black Lives Matter, and others. And it was fascinating. I'm providing a link to the video in the comments below. But I am bringing this up because as Keith Ellison was outlining some of his opinions on the process for change, my mind immediately went to something called the Flywheel Effect. Normally viewed as a powerful model for building businesses and for winning and keeping customers, I believe it applies so profoundly to the Black Lives Matter movement today. It will serve as our 15th mental model in this 30 and 30 series. First, let's start with what Keith Ellison said.
Now, you and I, we've been at our fair share of, public demonstrations. They're dramatic, they get your blood up, and it feels great to be out there raising your voice, and that is really important. I support the protesters' First Amendment rights. But the real work is in those rooms where we're renegotiating police union contracts, where we're talking at the legislature about the need for a better standard for deadly force.
At first, this may not sound incredibly profound, but it got me thinking. Nothing is signed to institute change at protests. There's no contracts, legislature, just a bunch of people with strong voices. As it's been proven for decades, the sadness is that without this, nothing changes. Apartheid in South Africa, after an exhaustive many years, reached finality because of the violence it evoked, the widespread protests and allyship it garnered, which led to a critical mass to the point that Nelson Mandela was finally released and negotiations were able to commence. So, back to the flywheel. When we think about generating business, we've historically thought of the concept of the funnel. Marketing generates broad awareness, there's some bite, these convert into leads, eventually you gain a customer. The problem with the traditional funnel is that it is short-sighted, it's not client-focused, it's very transactional, and it doesn't have long-term benefit. Nothing here tells us that the customer is cared for, that a partnership will be forged over time, that there will be mutual benefit. So in steps Jim Collins, who introduces the flywheel effect in his book, Good to Great. The flywheel is this incredibly heavy wheel that stores energy and makes things run. Suppose you try to push this at first. It barely budges, but after hours upon hours of hard work, you finally get it to fully rotate once. Soon, because of its heavy weight and the momentum, the flywheel starts to spin and takes off at almost unstoppable speed. To the outside, it may look like one big heroic act, but in reality, it was a significant amount of consistent effort with a singular focus to push the flywheel. In business, Amazon may be the best case study of this. Their differentiator, the reason they're so durable, is their focus on the customer. By placing the customer first in this process and adding an element of partnership, nurturing, being intentional and judicious, the customer becomes the marketing and sales engine to the point where your business is largely due to those converted to your solution. My argument is this model should be the lens through which we act today as allies. Taking a funnel approach is like, okay, I have fiduciary duty to my fellow human to stand up and speak, and people will be served justice, and maybe there will be some helpful legislation and my job is done. No. Yes, we have a fiduciary duty to our fellow human, but this needs to be consciously intentional. If we take a flywheel effect approach, we are participating for the purpose of long-term progress. This never ends. This is about fortifying a long-standing relationship for the ultimate purpose of mutual benefit. As humans, we are in service to others. If not others, then who? So my last message would be, your actions have the power to create a flywheel effect to make change where it really matters. In courtrooms, in legislatures, in your social circles. So Ubuntu, I am because we are. See you tomorrow.